6:20, a little bit late, a little bit late of a start on Wednesday, the 13th of July. And it's 61 degrees. Not a cloud in the sky. We had some rain last night. They were talking about a serious storm, but I think it was north of us. We did have some pretty good wind all during the day. So much wind that I went out on the deck and put the chairs down, laid them down so they didn't blow over, and grouped the seedlings I have in pots, grouped them together because they were blowing over and dumping the dirt out. So I went to bed around 9. It had rained a little bit around then, but I don't think we got any major rain. I didn't check the weather station, my weather station. Well, yesterday was Tuesday, and Brother Tom around the corner was supposed to get his tractor. And he called them at 9 o'clock in the morning to see when they'd show up. The guy told me to call him back. So I went over there to drop off more tools for building the deck. And that was around 10:30. Yeah, around 10:30. I stayed there till 11:15. He called them back at 11 o'clock. And the guy said again, I'll call you back. So later in the day, Tom got me on the radio and said that the tractor company said maybe Friday, maybe Thursday. I mean, that's bullshit. Spend a lot of money on a tractor and implements. God tells you he'll deliver it on Tuesday, and now he's like, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. So, Malice Mill called, said we don't have some of the materials on the list. And Tom didn't have the list in front of him, so he had me call. We had wanted 20 2x10 by 16s, and they only had 16. So I was going to double up on the ends just to box it out. I'm going to turn the camera so it's not blinded by the sun. So we can actually get by with 16. So I told that to the guy, and the guy's name was Steve. Steve says, well, I'll be right up. That was at 1:30. I was looking at Tom's security cameras, and nothing. You know, Malice Mill is 20 minutes by car. If you're driving a truck with lumber on it, maybe 30 minutes. So (2:30), Tom called up, says, what's going on? They said, well, it looks like rain. How about tomorrow? So it didn't rain, but Tom pushed it off till today. So hopefully this morning they show up with his delivery. So I'll be over there So for some reason yesterday, I was looking around by the TV. I saw the old Usenet cable. We did away with Usenet. 2 years ago. Usenet. Oh no, not 2 years ago. That was DirecTV. I guess it was 10 months ago, after we had Starlink installed. So the cable's just sitting there. So I decided to get that out of the way. It's just a cable. There's a bunch of cables there you need, and there was just one I didn't need, so I pulled that out. I'm downstairs wrapping up the last piece of it. The breeder calls down to me that there's moose in the yard. So I dropped the cable, ran upstairs. Sure enough, there's a cow and a bull. Rita had been sitting at her sewing desk in her office, and she looked out, and the moose was looking in at her. I guess about 35, 40 feet away. So she started taking pictures or video, and I came up. They already gone over to the east side of the field. The cow was munching on a pear tree, which I'm not too happy about, because this is at least the second time they've been eating the branches off the tree. Those pear trees have been on the ground 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. No sign of fruit yet. I'm not sure how long it takes before they have blossoms on them, start to get fruit. But they, good looking moose. Real healthy looking. And the bull is a good 150 feet maybe from the house. When you turn, you could actually see his antlers. It's on the video. Have to see if I can blow the video up. And what else? I had gotten an email from Susan Collins concerning Starlink. I had written to Collins, Angus King, he's an asshole, and Jared Golden, and the FCC about the possible problems between Starlink and Dish Network on the 12 gigahertz spectrum, radio spectrum. And Susan Collins wrote back that the FCC had granted something to Starlink. And then she went on to the typical political representative, this is what we're doing for you bullshit, where she said that Congress passed and sleepy Joe Biden signed into law that they're going to spend $65 billion on broadband infrastructure, where the deer flies are all over Flynn. $65 billion on broadband infrastructure. Now, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to be running cable, or fiber cable, copper cable, telephone poles, clearing rights of way to put the poles in. Like over here, you'd have to clear out trees along the road to be able to run those things back to rural America. And so here I am writing to them about Starlink, which is basically you put a dish in your yard, run the cable into your house, and you're up and running. Cost you $500 for the dish, and you're done. So I figured that, most of the country lives in urban areas where you've got, things like Comcast, Cablevision, Verizon Fios, and whatever other local ISP you have that gives you broadband. So there's 350 million people, and if you figure a good portion of those is two parents, two kids. If you if you divide that by 4, that's 90. So it's 90 million households. And I highballed it, saying that maybe 50 million households are in rural America that need access to broadband. So 50 million times $500 each for Starlink, the initial setup, is 25 billion, or 40 billion less than what the government proposes to spend on broadband. So I called Susan Collins' office. Got a guy named Hunter on the phone, and I went off on Hunter. Unfortunately for Hunter, he was the guy answering the phone. I explained, I live in rural America where I couldn't get broadband, had to go with satellite, and went with Starlink, and very happy with it. And I can't understand why the government wants to spend $65 billion to install 20th century technology across America, where you can go with state-of-the-art 21st century stuff in Starlink and save $40 billion. So I eventually apologized for going off on him. He said he would let Susan Collins know. I also followed up with a note to Susan Collins to the same effect. I took her email where she had given me the information and copied and pasted that into my response to her, and basically told her the same thing I told Hunter. But I wanted to get somebody on the phone in D.C. just to express my dissatisfaction, which I did. So now I got a notice that my mailbox doesn't meet specs. It's not the right height. The mailbox has been there for almost 7 years, and it doesn't meet the specs because I put in stone in the tire tracks where they had gone through and sank in the mud. So here I created a nice base for them so they wouldn't sink in the mud, and now I have to adjust my mailbox. And I'm thinking I'm just going to put pressure treated 2x6 underneath the box itself to raise it up to meet their specs, rather than trying to dig out that post. That'd be the quickest fix. So that's a chore for today. Well, it doesn't have to be today. If Tom's stuff shows up, we're gonna try and bang Tom's deck out, because He's heading out on Sunday, so we gotta get that deck done. And I think I mentioned yesterday we had a bee or hornet's nest. Come on, buddy, in the house. I looked at the can of Spectricide wasp and hornet killer, and the picture on there shows that what I had was hornets. And I looked under the deck, and I guess I had put a steel ruler through it, which aggravated the hornets, and it had not fallen down. I could see it still attached, but I had saturated it with the Spectricide when the sun went down, and there were a bunch of hornets dead on the deck. I looked under. I could see now that the nest is on the ground, but I could also see there were still hornets flying around, so I should have spread it again last night, but I forgot. I went to bed. But at least it's on the ground. It's dead. You know, most of it was dead. The deer flies are very active this morning. I haven't heard a single mosquito. I don't know whether the heat yesterday cooked them or what. I know they need pools of water to breed or to have to lay their eggs. We haven't had any cooling water in a while. But yeah, that sums up yesterday. Except I forgot to mention that Flynn almost broke two of my fingers on my left hand. I had the leash in my hand, and somehow I'd gotten the leash wrapped around the two fingers, my ring finger and my middle finger on my left hand. And he charged, and I think the ring finger is okay. I think the middle finger has got something with the knuckle, because it's a little bit swollen and painful. We'll see. That's it. Give it a like, give it a share. Thanks for watching.